He messages me the next day and he's like, I'm in the hospital. They're discharging me right now. I had a bit of an incident last night. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So first of all, thank you so much for being patient and coming back here, even though I haven't been able to upload as religiously as I had hoped I would when I first started this channel. But what y'all gotta realize is that there's an entire life going on behind the scenes of what you guys get to see, not just on social media, but like especially on YouTube. Like there's a whole life going on. I've been busy working on my internship and all of that has been taking up a lot of my time. So I'm really sorry, but thank you for coming back to watch this video. I promise you, you won't regret it. So today is the first episode of a segment I've been wanting to call Shot, Wine, and Story Time. So basically, we sip some vino, and we talk about the traumatic things that have been going on in my life. Oh, that's good. I let you guys pick what the first story time would be. I let you guys pick on my Instagram, and you chose that I was catfished. So as you can see by the title, I was catfished for 3.5 years. 3.5. What was I doing? What was I like? Oh my God. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. So this story takes place between the years of 2012 and 2015. And let me tell you, in those 3.5 years, so much happened. It started in August of 2012, when a boy named Sizwe sent me a request. We'll call him Sizwe. I'm changing names for disclaimer purposes. I don't need people coming for me telling my truth. So anyway, so a boy named Caesar sent me a request on Facebook and started messaging me, DMing me, and yeah, he was like, yeah, I've seen you around, you seem really cool, I would like to like talk and get to know you. So we started off just talking on Facebook, and then after a few days I posted a picture to Facebook, and he was like, wow, you look really beautiful, I'd like to take this conversation to WhatsApp, are you comfortable with that? So in 2012, WhatsApp was like just on the come up, I think, as far as I'm aware. It was like just on the come up, but people still did the majority of their madiri on Facebook, right? I know I did. I don't know about everybody else. But yeah, so we moved the conversation to WhatsApp because WhatsApp was like obviously a lot more private, and yeah. So we moved the conversation to WhatsApp. We started talking on WhatsApp, and like within a month, I was his girlfriend. I'm not gonna talk like man had mad game like that. I'm not gonna talk like I had mad game like that. I had a lot of self-esteem issues back then, and I thought I was obligated to like anybody that liked me. And having low self-esteem and a really messed up self-image will kind of, I'm not going to say it justifies it, but it explains a lot of why what happened between me and this guy happened. Like, you'll understand why it went on for so long, because somebody with self-esteem issues, somebody that's emotionally manipulative. Anyway, we gonna get there. So we were solid, we were strong, we were a good relationship for about 2 weeks, and then I posted something on my Facebook that clearly was a source of controversy, because I started going back and forth with somebody in my comment section. It was a guy from, we'll call the school St. Paul's. So I started going back and forth with this guy in my comment section, and then in swoops Sizwe, and Sizwe is like, fam, you're not about to talk to my girlfriend like that. Like, quite frankly, if you keep this energy, me and, we'll call him Nate, me and Nate are gonna run up and we're gonna beat your ass. So this guy then replies Sizwe and is like, dude, I know Nate, and Nate has no idea who you are. I have no idea who you are. Like, Fortsack, basically. And so I then like messaged him privately, and I like my boyfriend. I messaged Sizwe and I was like, don't even, like, there's no need to do this. It's okay, I can defend myself. I appreciate you defending my honor, but we don't even need to take it there. It was a bit of a red flag that the people from the school that he claimed to go to were saying that they didn't know who he was. Anyway, from there was one incident that happened that like started the trust issues that I had with him. So basically, I was noticing that on his pictures and on his statuses and stuff, there was one girl that would be constantly commenting, constantly liking. And so I asked him about her, and he's like, oh, baby, it's just a friend. Don't worry about it. And I was like, okay, cool. Until one day, this girl, we'll call her Dorcas because I'm not about to waste a nice creative name on her. So Dorcas messages me and she's like, hi. I'm like, hi. And she's like, how are you? I'm like, I'm good. And then she's like, so you're C's cousin, right? He's told me about you. And I was like, cousin. No, sis, I'm his girlfriend. Why would you think that I'm his cousin? And she's like, oh, well, you should ask him who Dorcas is. And I was just like, nah, sis, why don't you tell me who you are? Because you trying to be confusing all up in here. Who are you? What do you want? And she's like, don't come at me like that when you and I are sharing a boyfriend. Anyway, sis, you can have him. And I'm like, no. You're not about to high road me like I'm the one who's desperate for affection here. I look, he was. You can have him, sis. So anyway, I screenshotted this conversation. I sent it to him and I was like, this will not be tolerated. You can hit the road. You can kick rocks, okay? You can leave. Leave. Get that bread, get that head, then leave, right? And he's like, no, babe, she's one of my exes. I've just been being nice to her because she's going through a tough time, but we're not together. You're my girlfriend. I'm sorry. I'll set this straight. So he messages her and he's like, yada, yada, yada. This girl is my girlfriend now. I'm so sorry if you thought it was a different way, but it's not like that no more. And we're done. And then he blocked her. So her friend, we'll call her friend Doreen. Doreen then comes into my DMs and is like, who do you think you are? Like, oh, you're out here messing around in people's relationships and ruining people's relationships. Who do you think you are? And I'm just like, first of all, sis, don't come for me. Go comfort your friend. Because this has nothing to do with me. This is not my problem. Your homie came into my DMs talking recklessly. And the man in question has picked his team. He's made it clear who he's for. Go help your friend out. So anyway, eventually, Dorcas messages me and she's like, I'm really sorry. I might have been tripping, but you need to watch this guy. He's manipulative. And I was just like, she's just hating because he want me and he don't want her. And that's my man. You ain't about to tell me nothing about my man. Man, looking back, I should have listened to her. After this, he gave me his Facebook password. Unprovoked. I didn't ask for it. He gave me his Facebook password and, you know, I guess like small parts of me were starting to trust him again. But I realized like the one day I did open his Facebook and I did scroll through who he was messaging, and he talks to a lot of girls, okay? And one conversation, one chat that came up that I was uncomfortable with was from this girl that was a year below me at my school. For all intents and purposes, we're going to call her Tatiana because her behavior is thoughtful, and at the same time, I'm going to keep her name as Tatiana because she reoccurs in different story times that I'm going to upload to this channel. So, Tatiana, if you're watching this, shout out, honorable mention to you, sis. Anyway, so he had one chat with this Tatiana girl where, like, she gets awful friendly with him and they all, bestie this, bestie that. So I messaged him and I was like, look, I trust you. I know that you're not out here stepping out on me, but you do talk to a lot of girls, and I would feel more secure in our relationship, considering how young our relationship is. I'd feel more secure if we made it Facebook official. He's like, boy, babes, whatever you want, you got it. So we make it Facebook official, and it's all cute. It's all rainbows and sunshines and shit. And yeah, from there, I was walking around like I was that bitch. I was like, I am that. That is me. Okay, that's me right there. That's my man. You can't tell me nothing. So, hey, guys, boy, oh boy, was I wrong. So anyway, as him and I go on in the relationship, he tells me that he has a heart condition that causes him, like, under very stressful circumstances, his blood pressure increases, he would have nosebleeds, he would have migraines, he would collapse, like, oh, girl, it was a lot. But at the same time, I was just like, okay, well, then that just means me as the girlfriend. I have to be his piece. Oh, God. Be his piece. Be his headache, sis. Just parentheses advice, be his headache. There are 6 other girls trying to be his piece. Be his headache, okay? You gotta do it differently. You gotta do it differently, sis. You have to stand out. Be the headache. Anyway, so, as a disclaimer, like, okay, not really a disclaimer, but like as an explanation, while I was involved with this guy, I wasn't really ready to like be having a boyfriend that like I spend a lot of time with, I'm always seeing, because at that age I was just scared that he was gonna ask me to do more than I was really ready to do. I'd had my first kiss that year, so I wasn't ready to be out here doing other things just yet. Like I am slow and steady wins the race, basically. I don't like to rush and stuff. So at first he didn't really put pressure on me for us to like link up and meet. Yes, we had been dating this whole time. We'd been talking, vibing, dating. I did not see him. Okay, I'd never seen him. I'd never met him. We talked on the phone, and like a pubescent teenage boy voice. So I didn't really have doubt to think that he was anybody else. But now that I look back at it, I think I was just hearing what I wanted to hear, because I don't know what I know about faces and voices, but the face and the voice were not matching, my guy. They were not matching at all. Anyway, so I remember just like as the relationship progressed, I kind of wanted to see him. I did want to see him. I wanted to spend time with him and like do cute coupley things, like be caught holding hands, like make out. Like that was stuff that I was interested in doing. So I was involved at reps. And so I would do stuff at Reps Teens, which used to be on a Friday, and we'd have a break in between. So I'd invite him and be like, why don't you come to Reps and then we hang out during the break? Like, you don't have to see anybody. It'll just be you and me, and we can just like chill and kick it. And at first it used to be stuff like, oh babe, you know how it is, I'm in form 4, my dad won't let me leave the house, I'm not feeling well, I don't have transport. Like, and the first couple of times, like, those excuses, they fly, I suppose. Like, they're okay. They're understandable. But it was now starting to get to a point where I was like, bruv, why don't you want to see me? Like, what is really going on? Because I was now starting to think maybe he thinks I am so disgusting that he doesn't want to see me. But he had told me, like, oh, I've seen you around your school before. So you knew what I look like before you asked me out. Therefore, what really is the problem? And I remember the one time where we had talked about it, and he agreed he was gonna come. He agreed he was gonna come to Reps on Friday to see me and to hang out with me. Yes. So he's like, yeah, chi baby, I'll be there. On Friday he messages me and he's like, babe, there's a problem. And I'm like, oh, what is it now? And he's like, I'm too excited to see you. And I was like, what? What does that just, what? Don't be cute right now, fam. Like, tell me what the problem is. And he's like, that's the problem. I'm too excited to see you. Now, I'm hoping any guys that are watching this YouTube video are instantly clicking as to what it is this boy was trying to tell me that I didn't get at the age of 15. So he's like, babe, I'm too excited to see you. And I'm like, my guy, what are you saying? And he's like, babe, I have a boner and I can't get rid of it. And I was just like, oh God, Lord, help me. So for me, I was like, I don't really know the science of the male anatomy and what guys do in situations like that. But for me, I was just like, dude, take care of it, get in the car and come here. Like, are you mad? And he's like, no, babe, I'm scared that when I see you, I won't be able to control myself, blah, blah, blah. Like, just like, for me, these were like really, really flimsy excuses. I don't know if these are like real viable excuses. Please tell me in the comment section if I was tripping for being like, please tell me if I was wrong. Let me know. I just didn't like that as an excuse. So I was just like, you know what, I can't deal with this. And then, you know, he did it again a couple more times. I think it was my debut show on main stage at Reps, which was Hairspray, right? And I played Inez. And it was a big deal because I had like a whole solo line and everything. Like, I was so proud to be in that play. And the fact that he didn't show up, I'd been talking about him to my classmates and we were so excited for him to come. And then he didn't show up. So I was livid, okay? So after that, we got into a big argument, and he had this friend. We'll call the friend Andre. So Andre had been friends with this guy for a while, obviously, and he knew that me and Sizwe were arguing about this. And so Andre puts me and Sizwe in a group chat together, and he's like, okay, you guys really need to talk about this. You need to hash this out because this is not okay. Like, y'all need to actually talk about what the problem is. So I'm complaining. I'm saying this guy doesn't make time for me. He doesn't want to see me. I don't know what it is. Sizwe is now getting offended, getting on the defensive, and being like, you know what? So what is it that you expect me to do? And I was like, I don't want you to do anything. I don't really think you want to be in this relationship. And it's kind of putting me off the whole situation too. So I kind of want to break up, to be honest. And then he was like, well, if you don't want to be with me, I don't want to be with anybody else. And I don't want to be on this earth. So he sends me some very gory pictures, and then just goes offline, just disappears. So here's me panicking. I'm trying to call him. I'm trying to get in contact with his sister because I'd spoken to his sister before. I'm freaking out. So Andre messages me and he's like, calm down. And I'm like, calm down for what? This guy might have just done something really stupid just because I told him I wanted to break up with him. Andre then sends me a picture, like a screenshot. He typed into Google the particular kind of picture that this boy had sent me. And the first image that pops up is the image that Sizwe sent me, trying to threaten me with him taking his own life. I was so mad. I was so mad. So now I'm still trying to call him so that I can tell him off and be like, this is manipulative bullshit. Anyway, he messages me the next day and he's like, I'm in the hospital. They're discharging me right now. I had a bit of an incident last night. And I was like, no, you didn't have an incident. Then I sent him the picture that Andre had sent me of the Google search. And I was like, you got this picture from Google and you were trying to make me feel away like you were going to take your life. Are you mad? Is this really something that you joke about and you make manipulative moves? Why would you do this? And he's like, I felt bad after I did it. I don't know what to tell you, but at this stage, like, I then got a migraine. I've been having migraines all night because I've been crying about you. So around 3 or 4 in the morning, they took me to the hospital because I started having profuse nosebleeds. Me being me, I was like, hey, be his peace, be his peace, be his peace. So I was like, okay, we need to talk about this though. So we talked and he managed to get me to be like, okay, cool, calm. It's fine. I'll stay in the relationship. Like, I will still be here. Man, I should have gotten out. So anyway, we stayed together. We were out here riding or whatever. Mind you, all of the stuff that I've just told you happened in like the space of like 2.5 months. Like 2.5 months. And all of this drama went down. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. So now we're getting to December. And Zimbabweans, you know what December means. Well, December used to mean in high school. December used to mean breakdown. Okay, all right. So basically, breakdown was this massive breakdancing competition that they used to have in Zim in December. But it was basically just an excuse for like a bunch of teenagers to be in a big movie theater by themselves. And when I'm saying a bunch of teenagers, I'm not talking, like a couple hundred, maybe a couple thousand, okay? Because all the boarders are back from boarding school now. Like, it's December. Nobody is worried about school right now. We're worried about the okay? We're worried about socializing and chilling and kicking it. So I bought my ticket, and I remember I'd had a conversation with Sizwe, and I'd been like, we really need to meet up at Breakdown. Like, I need you to be there. So leading up to Breakdown, one of Sizwe's friends, we'll call him Takunda. So Takunda had messaged me out of the blue on some straight nonsense. Do you understand me when I say straight nonsense? Like, he was talking to me about, you're so paying. What are you doing with the Sizwe own? Like, seriously. Like, why don't you just roll with me? I'm a much better pick. Like, seriously. Within a couple of months, you will be my girlfriend. I'm going to take you from your man. I'm going to take you from your man. All the while, Tatiana is still texting my man, is still Like at some stage, and this actually had us having a massive fight, like me and Cesar, we had a big fight about it. But at some stage, she was his profile picture on WhatsApp, and I was like, is she your girlfriend? Then what are you doing? You're not single that you can do that, sir. But yeah, so anyway, Takunda's messaging me on some straight nonsense. So leading up to breakdown, Caesar was talking about some nonsense of him not being sure whether or not he was going to be able to come. So I basically said to him, look, bruv, this is an ultimatum. Either you are there or you are single. But you cannot have me and also not be there. You need to be there. Okay? And guys, I know that it's putting pressure on him, but at the same time, if you've been dating somebody for like almost 3-4 months and you haven't seen them, you'd put pressure on the mans too. And you know that. This Takunda guy was still like messaging me, even on the day of breakdown. This girl from my school, call her Rutendo. Rutendo messaged me and she was like, are you going to breakdown tonight? And she was a senior, like she was a year above me in school. And I was just like, her and I don't really have anything to talk about, so I don't know why she's messaging me about anything. Anyway, she messages me and she's like, yeah, I would really love to have like a quick little conversation with you when you get to breakdown. And I was like, okay. So anyway, I get to breakdown. Takunda's been texting me, but I've been airing these messages because I kept telling him, I was like, you cannot take me away from my man. I love this boy. Or so I thought. I was like, I love this boy. I'm loyal to him. I'm faithful to him. You really just need to let it go because it's not going to happen, sir. At first, I thought it was a prank. I thought like somebody was really just trying to get me. But the way this guy was talking, I was like, sir. So anyway, we're there. I'm messaging Cesar. Like when I say we're there, I mean me and my friends are there. I message Cesar. I'm like, bruv, where you at? And he's like, oh yeah, babe, I'm sorry. We're coming soon. It's just my friend got a flat tire. So now we're trying to make plans. We're trying to figure out what we're going to do. And at this point, I was now getting annoyed because this is usually how him bailing on our plans would start. When he would have the courtesy to actually bail on them, okay? So I said to him, listen, you know that tonight is important. You know that I gave you an ultimatum. So if it means you leave your friends to find their own way there and you call a cab to get here and they meet you here, that's what you're going to do. Because I'm not going to sit here waiting for you the whole night for you not to show up. Like, you're not going to disrespect me like this again. Basically, Rutendo pulls me aside and she's like, hey sis, can we go talk outside? So we went to talk outside. And long story short, she pulls out receipts of my boyfriend talking to her, talking about, hey, when are we gonna link so I can pipe you? Hey! When I tell you it took all of me to stay calm in this situation. In fact, it wasn't even me getting angry. I was just hurt. So the texts were coming in the same kind of language that he used when he was talking to me. The profile picture was the same. I had no reason to think that this would have been somebody else, right? So Rutendo's like, look, the thing is, I thought he was single, and then somebody from school told me that, like, you guys have been dating for a while. And I was just like, wow, okay, cool. So I said to her, okay, thank you for showing me this. I appreciate it. Let me go handle my shit. So I went back inside the movie theater because it was dark, right? During the competition, it's always dark. And I wanted to go inside the movie theater before I texted Cesar because I was like, if I start crying, I don't want anybody to see it. I don't want anyone to see it. I don't want people being like, yeah, chi, this chick was crying. I texted him and I was like, who is Rutendo? And he's like, what are you talking about, babe? Anyway, we got the car fixed, so we're just getting fuel and then we're going to be on the way. And I was like, don't bother, you're single now. And he's like, what the hell are you talking about? What is your problem? Why are you always tripping over nothing? And I was like, tripping over nothing? We go back and forth and I said some really, really hurtful things. And I was like, dude, I'm done with you. We're over. If you're gonna go and jump off a roof, go ahead and do that. I don't care at this point. You're trash. You cheated on me and I don't want anything to do with you. Then I blocked him on WhatsApp and I blocked him on Facebook because I was like, I don't want him to have any access to me. He starts trying to call me. So it was the worst because I couldn't just turn off my phone because obviously I'm out. My mom needs to know where I am. All of this. So I go home, I'm really upset about it the whole night. And then the next day I get up and I was like, okay, let me unblock him. Let's have a civil adult conversation. So I unblocked him on Facebook. And yeah, as you can see, I sent him a long ass message. Just basically being like, I'm sorry. Because the thing is, back in the day, I feel like the only defense that I had to hurt this guy was to be like, I lied when I said that I loved you. Like, I never meant that. I never meant that. I said it to make you feel better because you said it first and I didn't want you to feel embarrassed. But I don't love you. I never did love you. I remember I definitely said all of that in the text that I had sent the night before. I took a lot of it back the next morning because I was like, I said a lot of what I said to hurt you. I did love you, but like, you literally, there's always bitches involved. If it wasn't Dorcas, it was Tatiana. If it wasn't Tatiana, it was Rutendo. Like, in 3 months, 3 different girls are coming and telling me ba 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 in my ear. Like, what is this? And then he's like, you tripped for no reason last night. You were set up. I was set up. And I was like, what? And he's like, your little friend, Takunda, this man's of yours, him and Rutendo conspired to mess up our relationship. So I was like, there's no way. I opened the messages from Takunda. Takunda has been like, yeah, and you're an idiot. You're an idiot, blood-clad dickhead, because you actually believed that your boyfriend was doing all of this. We set him up. We set him up because that guy used to be my best friend. And then the minute you came into the picture, you were all he could talk about. And I'm like, that's really why you try to ruin my shit? So it was literally a setup. Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for me to pop up in this video looking like this all of a sudden. And then like you're going to see me how I was before. But I realized that there was a massive segment of this video that did not even record. I don't know if it didn't record or it didn't save, but it's not here. Basically, after I found out that Rutendo and Takunda set me up, Sizwe was basically like, oh, okay, so then if that's the case, let's get back together. Because, like, you were tripping. He low-key blamed me. And he was like, you should have known better. You should have believed me. And I'm like, well, maybe you should get the people in your corner in control. Because I don't know about your friends, but my friends would never do anything like this to me. He was like, let's get back together. And I was just kind of like, look, like, I'm deeply traumatized from what just happened. And I'm not trying to rush into getting back into a relationship with you. Let's just like see how it goes. And he's like, I don't care what it takes. I'm getting you back. You are the woman that I love. You're the woman I want to be with. And I was just like, okay, bruv, cool. That's fine. So... And I mean, obviously, having had all of these things happen in like the space of 3 months gives you mad trust issues. But at the same time, I was emotionally attached to this guy. I'm not gonna lie, I was so convinced I was in love with him. But since then, obviously, I have been in situations and relationships that have made me kind of realize that that is not a good example of what love is. Like, it's not. It wasn't. But I think it was where I was comfortable. It's where I felt safe for some reason. So I stayed kind of like half in, half out with him. Like, we went together, but we were working on it. All right, fast forward to 2013. I'm starting out my Form 4 year. He's changed schools, okay? He was going to a different school. My cousin also happened to be going to that same school. So I asked her about him, and she's like, sis, there's nobody by that name at the school. I'm at school, and then Tatiana and her little friend come up to me. And they're like, oh, how are you? How are things going? Yeah. And then Tatiana's like, yeah, I've been hanging out with Sizwe so much. Like, he like was taking me out and stuff. It was really fun. It was really nice. So the first thing I did was I asked Tatiana about the Rutendo and Takunda situation. And she's like, no. I don't, like, I know Takunda, but I would never, like, I don't know Rutendo like that, and I would never disrespect your relationship like that. I like you. I respect you. Also, Sizwe is my bestie, and you bring him happiness. So, like, why would I ruin his happiness? So I went and I confronted Sizwe about it, and I'm like, what does she mean you've been taking her out and stuff? Sizwe hits me with the typical line that men like to use as a defense when they get called out on their nonsense. He's like, I don't know why you're always believing everybody else instead of me. Bruv, because this is, You are a liar, you are manipulative. Like, this is you, this is you, this is how you behave. So you can't ask me why it is I don't trust you or why it is I don't believe you when this is your MO. This is how you behave. Your past behavior is the reason I don't trust you. Anyway, when I talked to him about it, I was like, I didn't say I believed her. I'm just asking you. I'm telling you what I was told, and I'm asking you whether it's facts or not. Anyway, as usual, he talked his way out of it, and then we were calm, we were chill. So, like, we were, as I said, we were at a stage where we were together, but we were not in a relationship, but we were exclusive, so he couldn't be seeing anybody else. We had gone through a lot. Like, he was still just being very flaky and stuff. So now, fast forward a couple of months, I'm doing a play. We're doing a play. We're getting ready for a play and stuff. And at the same time, during that holiday, during the April holidays, was going to be my Form 4 dance. So I asked him to be my date. And he was like, yes, baby, of course I'll be your date. Yeah, I'll be your prince, whatever. So I kept setting up dates for us to like meet so he could give me his share of the deposit that I was going to need to secure his seat at the dance. But like, this guy never showed up to any of these dates, and it was always, I'm sick, I can't make it, I'm busy, I'm that, nonsense. That's all it was. So there came a day where I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore, and I'm not going to my Form 4 dance alone. I'm just not going to do that. That's not going to happen. No, thank you. No, ma'am. I had a guy friend at the time who was in the play as well. So we'd been doing rehearsals together. He was in the play as well. And so I said to him, yo, would you be my date to the dance? He's like, yes. So me being as problematic as I was, I did this before I spoke to Sizwe about the whole situation. So the next day, I link with this guy. We'll call him Bo. Okay? So, linked with Bo, I said to Bo, listen, you and me, like, you're going to be my date to the dance. Bo said yes. We talked about what he was going to wear. Habibi, it was not. Like, that's a whole other story time. But anyway, literally the day after I asked Bo, he bought, like, the deposit. He bought the money, his share of the money that was going to secure his seat at the dance. So I was like, what? Done and dusted. It's calm. So then, thereafter, I told Sizwe, hey, did all hell not break loose after I told Sizwe that I asked somebody else to the dance? He's like, how could you do that? How could you betray me like this? You have no faith in me. How could you not believe that I was going to make it to your own dance? It's your Form 4 dance. I was going to be there, but you don't have faith. You don't believe in me. How do I know that you don't have a thing going on for this guy? And I was like, first of all, this guy has a girlfriend. I have you. It's a platonic thing, but you are inconsiderate. You are not trustworthy. You are selfish. You cannot be consistent to save your life. So I did what I felt I had to do to make sure that I have a good night. Did he not fight me on it for days? I think we fought for like a week about me asking somebody else to be my dance date. So we got to a point where, look, I did this to guilt trip him, but I was like, fine, you don't want me to go to the dance? I will get my deposit back. I'll stay at home. I'll talk to you. I'll eat ice cream. I will sacrifice the one night of my life where I was going to get dressed and feel like a princess. And he's like, okay, baby, I'm sorry. I'm being selfish. And go. And have fun. It's cool. Like, I'm not going to lie. I was going to go however I wanted to go, and he was gonna have to find a way to be okay with that. So I went to the dance. I had a good time. I sent him pictures of me in my dress, and he was like, oh, you look beautiful, you look so pretty, I wish I had a chance to be there, blah blah blah. And I'm like, you did have a chance to be there, but you did not take that chance. Therefore, I don't know if you can use that terminology, sir. I don't know. So somewhere along the lines between, like, just after my dance, this boy just dropped off the face of the planet completely. Just could not get through to him on WhatsApp. Messages was just not even delivering. Yeah, also on Facebook, I couldn't get a response. I couldn't get a clear read of where he was, what he was doing, what was going on with him. Like, yo, I was stressed, okay? And then, like, a couple days later, he messages me, well, on a number that I did not recognize. Just like the message pops up and he's like, hi, can I talk to you for a second? And I'm like, okay, who is this? And then he's like, hi, my name is Sizwe. And apparently, so I've been told by the doctors. Here we go. So I've been told by the doctors I suffered a very serious head trauma, and now I suffered a massive head trauma, and now I have amnesia.
Jesus is Lord.
Let that sink in. This man messaged me and told me he had amnesia. So he's like, I have amnesia. I don't remember the last few months of my life, but I know that I've been having a lot of dreams about you, and I don't know who you are, but I know that you mean a lot to me, because every time I think about you or I see you in my dreams, I wake up really emotional. So I asked my friends who you were, they gave me your number, and I wanted to reach out and just ask you who you are to me. And I was like, oh. Hey, tell me, guys, what do you say to that? So I was like to him, for me, I was like, this is a chance to what? To vanish out of this relationship and just be done. Because clearly I have not been his peace. And he definitely has not been my peace. So I was like, I'm no one to you. We were an item once upon a time, but we've since broken up. We're not together anymore. And you should probably like move on. And he's like, no, I can't move on from you. I can't forget about you. I see you in my dreams. I can hear your voice in my head. I can hear you saying my name. I just want to understand who you are. I just want to like fix things. Like, who are you? And I was just like, dude, I'm not going to have this conversation with you. I really think you should try and move on and forget about me, because I'm no one. Like, I don't exist. I'm no one to you, and you should really just move on with your life, right? And I know it sounds harsh, but at the same time, it's like, yo, how long are we going to continue with this? So anyway, next thing I know, his cousin is messaging me. We'll call his cousin Chad. So his cousin starts messaging me and is like, yo, so I'm Chad, I'm Sizwe's cousin, and he's really distraught about what's been going on, and I know that you meant a lot to him, and he really needs your support through this tough time. Like, he needs you. He's not gonna admit it, but like, you are his weakness. He really loves you. You're the love of his life. He needs your help. And I was like, dude, I can't do this. Like, it's been so toxic and so chaotic, all the stress over a boy that I have not met. What is this? Like, it's not normal. So I started talking to Sizwe again, like little by little, because I didn't want to like dive back into it and just have the same chaos going on again and again. So me being stupid, I kind of did believe that he had amnesia. So I was like, get in the water, like little by little, a toe at a time. I'm not just gonna dive back in, because like maybe we could use this as a chance to like reprogram the things that were wrong in our relationship. At the same time, his cousin Chad is texting me often, and I'm replying mostly to be polite. But also Chad was like interesting banter. He was good banter, but we were just talking, and it was like as far as I'm concerned, it was completely innocent. One day, Chad messages me and he's like, look, I have to be honest with you. This is gonna be the last time I message you. And I'm like, why, Chad? What's wrong? Chad is like, with us having talked for the last couple of weeks, I realize that I'm starting to develop feelings for you, because every time that Sizwe mentions you, I get a little bit jealous when he's like, oh, she's my baby. That's my girl. Like, I be getting jealous. So first things first, I'm going to have to stop talking to you out of loyalty to my family. And secondly, you need to know that this guy doesn't have amnesia. This man set this whole thing up. This man set this whole thing up to try and start over with you because things were so bad. He did not want to let you go. So he faked it. He faked the amnesia. And I was like, oh my God. I was livid. I was livid. So I screenshotted the message and I sent it to him, and I was like, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? Explainez-vous, s'il vous plaît. He was like, I was gonna tell you, I just wanted to use this as a chance for us to fix things. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be dishonest, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. I really don't like the fact that you've been texting my cousin so much. And I was like, I was texting your cousin because I thought that he was trying to help you recover your memory. So don't come for me, because as far as I'm concerned, the only reason I was talking to him was because of you. Made it clear that, like, as far as I was concerned, the whole thing was so platonic. It was innocent as far as I was concerned. And if the cousin caught feelings with me, what does that have to do with me? Why is that my fault? Like, seriously. This man was tripping. So anyway, I was just like to him, now that I know that you lied to me about having amnesia, you're insane. I can actually see that you're crazy, and I don't want to get back together with you. I don't want anything to do with you. It's done. So in April, we had officially broken up. And then I was like, I cannot do this anymore. Because it was 6 months on again, off again, on again, off again. It was so toxic. It was so toxic. And I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Yes, it still gets even more dramatic than what I've told you guys. Like, we still talked a little bit after, like, the whole amnesia incident. Please don't ask me why. I find it hard to detach from people that I have, like, deep emotional connections with. And in as much as, like, he was really shitty, everything that went on from my end of the deal was genuine, because I did love him and I did, like, want to be in a relationship with him. I did want to have him in my life. The one day he was talking to me about a dream that he had had. And I was just like, okay, is there a point to this? And he's like, you know what? You're so fucking stubborn. You know, like, the way that you behave, the way that you act like you're so much better than everybody else. And, you know, I hope you know that your mom is probably really disappointed in the daughter that she raised. Now, if you know me, and even if you don't know me, go to the first video, the first 2 YouTube videos that I put on this channel. You will know that I am close with my mom, okay? I ride and die for that woman. For a boy to bring my mother into any conversation in a negative way when A, he's never met her, B, he knows how I feel about her, I saw red. I'm so angry. So I said to him, I don't know who you think you are, but if you ever bring my mother into conversation again, I will kill you with my bare hands. Because crazy. The message delivered, but it only had 1 tick. And I was like, he sent this shit to provoke me and then went offline. Childish. Childish. The next day, I get a call from a man I don't know, a number that I don't recognize. And it's some constable from Milton Park Police Station. And he's like, we need to talk to you. And I was like, talk to me about what? And he's like, it's about a stolen phone. And I'm like, a stolen phone? And I knew he wasn't talking about my phone, because my phone, I got it from my mama. Like, I don't know what he was talking about. And I was like, look, the thing is, currently my mom is out of the country. I'm staying with my aunt. I can't ask her to drop me off here, but I have drama practice at my high school today. So y'all can meet me at my high school if you have something that you want to discuss with me. He's like, okay, cool. We're going to do that. So we go to my high school. I meet up with this guy. We'll call him Mr. G, and the police officer, and they're like, okay, so you sent this message. That was the last message that I sent to Sizwe. The one where I was saying, I will kill you with my bare hands. He's like, he sent this message to a WhatsApp number that had been deactivated because the phone had been stolen a few weeks ago. And I was like, but this, what? So this guy was like, well, first of all, you made a threat on somebody's life, and that's illegal. They were using it as an intimidation tactic for me to tell them everything I knew about Sizwe. And so I told them what they needed to know, but at the same time, like, I was embarrassed to really let the full story out. So I told them, listen, this is the number he used to use. This is the number that he's been using with me. I have not seen him. We have not hung out together. I do not know anything about a stolen phone. Please don't bring me into this. So they're like, okay, cool, fine. So we have your phone number. We're going to need to keep in contact with you regarding this case. So I gave them my number, and then they left me, they let me go and everything, and they're like, well, if you hear from him, please let us know. So a few weeks later, as I said, when this conversation happened, my mom was out of the country. A few days later, my mom came back and I told her what happened. She was calm, but I think the reason she was calm was because she didn't know how to process it. And she also thought that like Nyayacho was done, like it was over, like the story was over. The school term opens up again because this happened during the April holidays. Now we're in May. These guys call me again and they're like, we might need you to come in and testify. And I remember just being really hesitant to do that because I was like, I don't know if that's something I'm capable of doing. And basically, my mom was in the house when I was on this phone call, and she could hear that I was talking about this boy and this case. So my mom snatches the phone from me, gets on the phone with Mr. G, and is like, you already consulted this girl without me, her legal guardian, present. If you continue to phone her and harass her about this case, she's already told you all she knows. Okay, if you continue to phone her and harass her and bring her into the situation any further, you will be hearing from me and my lawyers. Do not call this number again. She hangs up. Yo, I was shook because my mom was mad. She's like, you're in Form 4. It's May, okay? You have exams like now. You have exams like right over there. And you're still here focused on this nonsense to do with this boy. Can you stop? It's enough now. Like, this is getting ridiculous. So, needless to say, I bailed my May-June mocks for O-levels. Like, I'm not even going to lie to you. I bailed my May-June mocks for O-levels because this whole situation had distracted me to the point where I couldn't study. I couldn't focus. Like, I'd be closed in a room with my books for 2 hours and be staring at the same page thinking about this boy. Because after this man popped up talking about it, this phone is stolen, I didn't hear from him again. And I was stressed because I was worried about him, like a simp. Anyway, here's me kind of moving on with my life. You know, May, June, July, we didn't speak. He didn't even say happy birthday. Offensive ass. And then in August, I was at school for extra lessons and also like to finish my craft projects because I used to do art. So I was in art class with my friends and stuff. And then the next thing I know, I get a message from this boy and he's like, baby. He's like, baby, you're all grown up. What's up? What's good? What's popping? And I was like, baby. No, Habibi, no, Habibi. No. I was like, baby, Pakudi, I'm not your baby anymore. You lost the right to call me baby a long time ago, my G. Like, I really don't know whose DMs you think you're in, but I can assure you, you have the wrong one. So we then get into an argument about, and he's like, I gave you one job. All you were supposed to do was wait for me, and you couldn't even do that. And I was like, hey, this man was tripping. Do you understand me? Tripping, acting like he had been locked up and my job was to hold him down and wait for him. Where's the ring? Where's the AP on my wrist that guarantees my loyalty to you? Here he is talking all this nonsense about it. You had one job, you were just supposed to wait for me and you couldn't even do that. And then he's like, anyway, I went to court, I won the case against this man, this Mr. G guy. They took me to court and I won the case, but my parents were like, we're done with your bullshit, we're done with your fuckery, we're sending you to boarding school and you won't have a phone. Anyway, now I'm back for a few weeks and I really just wanted to talk to you. I wanted to fix things. Minnie, I still love you. Minnie, I still want to fix things. And I was just like, sir, I assure you, whatever feelings I had for you are null and void. I don't want anything to do with you. And I'm so sure who you are is not who you've been pretending to be with me this whole time. This was the point where I was like, you are a catfish. It has been a year. You have not met me. You've not been a good boyfriend. It's manipulation. It's lies. It's amnesia. It's cops. I can't. I'm done. Leave me alone. So we didn't talk for the rest of 2013. 2014 he tried to message me and I was like, catfish, get the fuck out of my face. Get the fuck out of my face. You're not doing this. And then in 2015, This was the final year of the fuckery, the final year of the nonsense, the final year of the BS. He messages me and he's like, hi, I know it's been a long time and I'm probably the last person you want to speak to, but can you and I have a conversation for a little while? So curiosity got the best of me, but at this stage, I'm 18 years old now. I'm smart, I'm wise. I have been working on fixing the things within me that were broken to the point where I accepted that and called it love, okay? Like, I was already on my self-love journey at that stage. So he's now like in my life again, messaging me, talking about, I'm really sorry for everything I put you through. I have to admit, the only reason I didn't want to see you was because I was trying to punish you and torture you, and I don't know what in me was making me do that to you, but I'll do whatever it takes for you to forgive me, and maybe one day we can be friends, and maybe one day we can be more. And I was like, reaching, aren't we? But I was like, look, you and me can chat here and there, but we're not friends, and we are definitely never getting back together. Like, whoo, Taylor Swift, that shit, you are mad if you think I'm gonna go down that road again. So, I think this happened in like, I want to say June. I want to say June was when he messaged me talking about, hey, let's talk. In July, I think about a week after my birthday, he sent me flowers, like, to my school. So in the middle of English class on like a Thursday or something, and then she comes into the class and she's got like this bouquet of flowers, and I was like, wow. So my English teacher's like, oh, that's so sweet. You know, English teachers. Ah, that's so sweet. Oh my God, it's so sweet. This is from your boyfriend. And I'm like, ma'am, if I were to tell you the tea on these flowers. So I messaged him and I got home and I'm like, thanks, I really appreciate it. It's a very sweet gesture. And like, I'm actually in awe. I'm in shock that he actually like got me these flowers. I was like, wow, it's really, really sweet that you would do this. Because, you know, like, it's one thing to get flowers on Valentine's Day, but when you get flowers just randomly in the middle of a week from a boy, like, the whole school was like, oh, who are they from? I walked into the car when my mom picked me up and she's like, care to explain? So he's like, yeah, you know, you're really a difficult person to get flowers for, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, I'm just glad that, you know, you and me are vibesing again. And I was like, hold up. We're not vibesing again. You sent me flowers. One bouquet of flowers is not going to make up for everything you put me through. Like, I don't know if you think I'm dumb. Am I dumb, stupid, or dumb? But I'm not that, honey. Please don't think I am. I'm just, like, I'm thanking you for the flowers and that's it. It's not that I'm like, yeah, I forgive you for everything. Because, like, you still got a long way to go to get my forgiveness. Quite frankly. Habibi. And he's like, okay, well, whatever it takes. A couple days later, he messages me and he's like, he used to like send me Justin Bieber lyrics and be like, I still love you. And I'm like, Shamari. Like, so the one day he's all, I can't hold this in anymore. I'm still in love with you. I want you back. So I was just like, listen, bro, you put me through so much shit. You made me, I would spend nights crying over you. You faked your own amnesia. You got me in trouble with my friends and my family. I had to work so hard to get my mom's trust back over that whole the cops, Mr. G kind of thing. You used to manipulate me and threaten me with your own suicide to get me to fall in line. You had girls all in your DMs, all in my DMs, talking nonsense. We are not getting back together. I'm not doing that again. I'm so different from the girl that you were dating. Why do you think I would want to go back to living that life where I'm constantly stressed out of my mind about you? I was like, I'm not going back there, sir. Thank you so much. I have tasted the struggle. I shan't do it again. I shan't be doing that again. I shan't be doing that again, love. I shan't. Anyway, so he was just like, okay, Minnie, fine. I'm done trying to get you back. I won't bring this up again. But can we just like still be friends? Can we still talk? And I was like, I guess. So after saying, yeah, can we still talk? He did not talk to me for a week. And I was like, that's lie. He's had his feelings hurt. Eh? It's okay. About a week later, a person that I don't know messages me and they're like, "Hi, this is Minnie, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, my name is," I don't remember what the person's name is. We'll call him Willard. "This is Willard. I am Caesar's cousin." And I was like, "Okay." And he's like, "I have some unfortunate news. Caesar passed away." And I was like, "Really? Huh?" So I'm sorry. I know that somebody's death is usually a much bigger deal, but it was a case where I was like, this guy has lied about so many tambito amnesia nonsense. Like, there's been so many lies that I've been told to try and get, like, as a pro, to try and get my attention, to try and get a reaction out of me. So I was like, man, that's tough. I am so sorry. My condolences to you and your family. You know, I'm praying for your strength in this time. And he's like, yeah, thanks. So I was like, okay, so what happened? And he's like, you know, he had an episode with his heart condition. Doctors tried to revive him and it just didn't work out. And I was like, yay. That's tough. I'm sorry to hear that. Then I was like, when is the funeral? No response from Willard. A couple weeks later, in fact, it was the year after, because I was told this nonsense in December of 2015. So at the beginning of 2016, even though at the time I really did not fuck with Tatiana, I was having turbulence with Tatiana over a whole other male human being. I asked Tatiana, I was like, yo, did you hear that Caesar died? And she's like, he died. Inka, I haven't spoken to the guy in many a moon, so I wouldn't know. So anyway, a friend of mine who had kind of like seen us through this relationship since we started dating in 2012 had messaged me and was like, sis, did you say that this man had died? And I was like, yeah. So she sends me a screenshot of his Facebook profile, which I was no longer following, by the way. I had kind of like unfollowed him and just removed him from my life. So she messaged me and she was like, sis, but his profile is still here. It's just got a different name. I shit you not. The last name on his new Facebook profile was the same last name as Rutendo. Y'all remember Rutendo? Y'all remember Rutendo, who had been like, yeah, chi. Your man's has been in my DMs. Your man's has been in my DMs. Rutendo, who set me up. The same last name as Rutendo. So it could have been her brother or her cousin. I'm pretty sure it wasn't her husband, okay? But it could have been a brother or a cousin. My guy. So she was like, my friend was like to me, why don't you message him and ask him what the hell is going on? Because he can't just fake his death. And I was like, sis, for me to ask him what is going on, I would have to still care. And my life has taken a complete different trajectory for me going forward and asking him what's going on. Because then you know what's going to happen if this is still his profile. The cycle continues. He's then like, oh, I knew you cared. Like, no, we're not doing that. So in closing, it's been a long story time, guys. A long story time. In closing, a toast to the catfish, a toast to the catfish and the catfish associates. Y'all kept my life interesting in those junior years, and you put me through so much that I had to learn a lot about myself. And quite frankly, I wish that had been the experience that healed me into being a normal human being. But I went on and made a lot more mistakes, okay? And those mistakes I will discuss with you right here on this YouTube channel. So if you enjoyed the story time, guys, like, subscribe, share, turn on post notifications, because I promise you, Short Wine and Story Time is gonna be back real soon with another episode just for you. So yeah, thank you so much for being here with me, guys. Please make sure that you follow me on my other socials so that we can continue to talk, and you can also have a say in what kind of content that I post. I will be doing polls. You can ask me questions about my YouTube channel. I'm more than happy to English failed me. I'm more than happy to answer all of those questions for you. So thank you so much for being here today. I love you guys. Love and light. Take care. Mwah, mwah.